Hello, my name is Kiriath, and today we're going to have a little look at them there battle forces that went up yesterday on the Warhammer community site, and I am super happy with at least two of them. At least two of them are pretty much spot on as to what I really wanted from the Space Marine side of these boxes. I apologise, by the way, for the lack of videos this week so far. As you can hear from my voice, my kids have been ill. They've been ill for like 3 weeks, picking up various coughs and colds. And I finally caved. It finally got me. And I've had the flu for like the entire week. Still don't feel great, if I'm honest. But I'm bored and I've done and said nothing for like 3 days. I need to do something. Apparently having pneumonia wrecks your immune system. And I had it a couple of years ago, as you might remember, from like months of almost total absence. I just get everything now. I'm permanently wrecked, which is not great. On the other hand, I have actually got a bit done. As you can see... Oh, there we go. There you go. You can just about see it. I put the new storage in. Now I don't have models taking up every spare bit of flat surface in this office, and I'm going to need another one probably within the next 6 months. But it's fine. It's a start. We get there. So, let's talk about these boxes, because there's a couple of things I really like in here. A couple of things I'm super happy with, and we'll start with these lads, the Blood Angels, because you will recall when we saw that actually we were going to get Blood Angels and Space Wolves from those that leaked release schedule, which by the way has been sort of accurate, but not really. The actual products seem to have been pretty on point. The release dates absolutely not correct for a lot of them. It'd be interesting to see how much of that holds up as we get further towards the end of December. But when we talked about the fact that it's going to be Space Wolves and Blood Angels, one of the things that I said is if they both end up just being Primaris boxes, I will be an unhappy chap. I will not be pleased with that, because the Primaris stuff really does run a risk of making everything a bit bland, a bit samey, and they don't scream out what different chapters are properly about. This I am 100% okay with in every way. This is what I want to see from this kind of box. This is what I'd like to see from like the Space Wolf Start Collecting box. I would prefer a mix of different codex-specific units and the intercessors, because then you get something like this. You've got Death Company, you've got the Chaplain, you've got the Terminator Captain, you've got the Sanguinary Guard, you've got 10 intercessors, and you've got a Baal Predator. That is absolutely spot on. That is a great mix of old and new units. It's showing some love to the old Marines. You've got Codex-specific units in there for the Blood Angels. I mean, yeah, that to me, that is absolutely right. Just by being amongst all that other stuff, those Primaris Marines look more like Blood Angels than if they were by themselves. And I know that sounds weird, and I know they've got the iconography on them, but the intercessors, by design, do the same thing every time and don't have that same kind of personal touch that, say, the actual tactical squads for Blood Angels do. A lot of their armour is unique. I mean, you can't forget the amazing nipple armour they've got. This is a great mix of the old stuff and the new stuff. It shows some love to the old Space Marines. You still get the primary stuff in there, but it is nicely balanced out by codex-specific units that just scream Blood Angels. They are the only ones available to them. No one else can have them. It properly looks the part. Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I just didn't want all Primaris, and we didn't get all Primaris. We got a mix. We got a balance. Same thing with the Space Wolves. You've got the 10 intercessors again, but then you've got Wolfen. You've got the Iron Priest. And you've got the... I always forget what that thing's called. I always just call it the Flying Shoebox, but it has an actual name. Storm Wolf. Everything's wolf, whatever. The wolf ship, also... Who cares? Look at it. It's ludicrous. I still like it, but it's really dumb. Again, that's a really good mix. I mean, in this one, yes, the intercessors do outnumber the rest, but you do get a massive vehicle in there as well. And the Wolfen are like peak Space Wolves. It's a proper nice mix of units. This is perfect. This is what I wanted from these boxes. I don't mind having Primaris stuff in amongst things for Blood Angels and for Dark Angels and for Space Wolves. And, I'm not sitting there going, oh, don't keep them out of those chapters forever. they can be in there, but balance them out with stuff that only those chapters get. And that's what they've done. Absolutely super happy with both of those. I don't really care whether they are effective or efficient. I'm not bothered about that at all. I just wanted to see a nice mix, a nice balance of units, and that is what we've got, a good combination of old and new. So, those two boxes, super happy with. Let's have a look at the others. I'll be honest, I'm actually not too bothered about the Chaos Space Marines one. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I don't know. It's just not really doing anything for me. You've got a squad of Havocs there. You've got a 10-man squad of Chaos Space Marines, a Rhino, Terminators, and the Terminator Lord. It's not a bad box, but it's also, to me, not particularly exciting either. You know, it's not grabbing me and going, buy me now. It's just, yeah, okay, there's a decent mix of stuff in there. I think possibly the Rhino is taking away from it a little bit. After all, that is one of the oldest kits known to man. Whereas everything else in there... Oh, no, in fairness, no. The Terminator Lord, not new, although it is still a decent kit. Plenty of options. It's not a bad kit at all, that. It's aged well. But yeah, it's not jumping out at me. It's not screaming at me, the Chaos Space Marines one. It's okay. It's fine. The Drukhari one, on the other hand, for some reason, really is tickling my fancy. I don't even know why. I think it's because the other day I finally realised that I would quite like to paint some Drukhari. I would really like to have a go at some Dark Eldar. I think I've got a paint scheme in mind that would work quite well for them. And it would be 90% contrast, which would make it relatively quick to do. And ever since then, I've had to be sensible about not just taking the plunge and grabbing something. I don't know why, but that just looks like a nice combination of units there. Although I have seen a couple of people comment that due to the way the obsessions work, it's a little bit messy in a way. But I don't know, there's something about that just is visually pleasing to me. It has an impact there that I'm not really sure why it is having that impact, but of all of them is the one that's making me go, oh, maybe I could just grab one. Maybe I could. Why not? Okay, we also have the Tyranid one. To be honest, I think actually this is a pretty decent force. It's just not doing it for me because I'm all about the big monstery things for Tyranids. I have a similar draw towards big Tyranid beasties as I do towards Dreadnoughts. So painting lots of little infantry and stuff, I'm not too bothered about. But actually, it does it to be a pretty decent box, in fairness. It's just not the box for me. The box for me was that Apocalypse box that I missed out on. But this one, whilst not my personal taste, I would absolutely understand people grabbing this. I mean, that's, for a start, a decent number of models that you get in there. And that feels like a very plop it down the table and you're good to go kind of force. The Tau one I actually really like as well, but I'm not entirely sure why. I've always had a thing for the Crisis suits more than anything, and it feels like there's a nice mix of some of my favourite suits in that range as a whole. Also, the Starclaimer Hunter character just sounds like a quality bit of naming there. Yeah, not a bad box. That not a bad box. I could be tempted if I wasn't so tempted by the Drukhari one. But the Drukhari one is still the one properly drawing me in more than anything else. So yeah, the boxes are pretty good this year, I think. We also have 2 new Start Collecting boxes as well, which is Chaos Space Marines, as you can see, and the Vanguard Space Marines, so the Primaris stuff. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because there is a chance I am, but I don't think I am. This is just the 2 halves of Shadow Spear, correct? That's what the Start Collecting are. I'm assuming that they're going to be full sprue jobs. They're not going to be like monopos or anything. But I'm actually kind of puzzled because they might not be, because it is just the 2 halves of Shadow Spear, but separated into 2 Start Collecting boxes. Don't think they're bad. Don't think they're bad at all. But yeah, just a little bit weird. I will say I think I prefer that start collecting Chaos Space Marines to the one that was previously available. I mean, that's a lot of stuff in that box. It'd be interesting to see how much it goes for because, well, I mean, look at it. You've got 2 Obliterators, you've got a 10-man squad, 2 Greater Possessed. Yeah, you've got quite a lot in there, actually. You've got quite a lot of stuff in that box. Admittedly, the Vanguard Space Marines, there is like one more figure in there, but you know there's a vehicle in the Chaos one. The old Chaos box, if I remember correctly, was the Terminator Lord. It was 10 Chaos Space Marines and a Hellbrute, was it not? In which case, this is a significant. I'd argue a significant upgrade over that one. Yeah, it's quite a bit in there. And of course, there's also the Age of Sigmar ones as well. Always a Stormcast Eternals one. You've always got to have one of them. I don't know enough about Stormcast Eternals. I will say that Nighthaunt one, I do really like the look of. That feels like a really fun looking box, to be honest. Again, a nice mix of older sculpts and newer things in there too. You've also got a Skaven Box, which, I mean, it's got, provided that's the full thing. I mean, one of those can be either the catapult or the warp lightning cannon, and then you've got the bell of whatever it is that I can never remember the name of again. It feels like a sizable box. That those Skaven vehicles, siege engines, are not. They're not small. I mean, I've got a couple of the warp lightning cannons for various conversion purposes, and they're not tiny kits, to be fair. And then finally, there's the Gloomspite Gits, which is an excellent box because it's full of squigs and gobbos and and some trolls. Which, what more could you ask for, really? And then there's the various hobby accessories. I'll be honest, that I never got to talk about this at the time because I was ill. The whole red colour handle thing, okay, alright, fine. I kind of get it. I kind of get the whole thing of you can use this for significant projects like commanders or whatever. You could just paint a big gold stripe or something on one of your black ones, selling them in packs of 6 or 5 or whatever. If there's a discount on it, great. If not, it's no different to buying them separately. It's just slightly more convenient. The paint, the handle, the thing for spraying your models, honestly, still, I just wouldn't buy that. I would just get a bit of 2x4 and some blue tack the way I do it now, because I don't see that being any more convenient than just making one yourself. Like, for the money that you'll spend on it, because it's going to be more expensive than a piece of wood. It's going to be more than that. So, unless there's something I'm missing, I'm good without it, you know? That's actually an excellent idea, and I'm not going to shit on that. It'll probably be extortionately expensive, in which case you might have to go somewhere else and go third party to get something equivalent, but having something that stops your agrax falling over, I've spilt. We've all spilt. We've spilt bad. We've spilt horrible, like, disgusting amount of washes over the years. We've all done it. Anything that prevents that, I'll take it. I'll take it. I can't be like, what a terrible product, because I don't think it is. I think it's actually quite a good idea. And yeah, I could do with one. And I mean, now that my wife started painting with me, she could do with one as well, because she chucked a whole pot of sepia onto the carpet not all that long ago. So not gonna knock that one. Because there's a whole bunch of books, and there is the Red Gobbo himself, which is pretty funny. I will give him that. It's quite a cool miniature. I would not object to owning that thing. It's silly, but in the best way. It's my kind of silly, that. So yeah, it looks like we've got a good amount of stuff for the holidays coming up. The battle forces, for the most part, look pretty good. I like what they've done in the Space Marine ones. They've done a nice mix of old and new there. Chaos Space Marines, again, not too fussed about that box, but the Drakari, really like it. Tau Empire, again, I actually quite like. Tyrannid's not for me, but I could see a lot of people grabbing that. And I really think the new Chaos Space Marines start collecting does look to be slightly like more of an upgrade, shall we say, to the previous one. Just seems like you're going to get more for your money with it. So yeah, not bad this year, not bad. Be interesting to see how well these different things sell and who goes for what. Because I imagine some of those are going to disappear pretty quickly, and I honestly do. I do hope that the Blood Angels and Space Wolves boxes are like well supported. I think they will be. I mean, the Space Marine stuff and Space Marine stuff always sells, but I hope they are well supported, because that is a good way to show that yes, we do still want the old Space Marine stuff. We do still want things like Death Company and Sanguinary Guard. We do still want Wolf, and we don't just want Primaris. We want that personality that those units provide that Primaris just don't at the moment. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how well they do. Anyway, I'm going to go away for a bit because my throat is starting to kill me now. Thank you very much for watching. Props to you if you've managed to last all the way through this, listening to my terrible, like, plague-filled voice. And yeah, feel free to click all the things. Let me know what you think about those boxes and the various accessories, especially the painting stick. I'd love to know what you think of that. I'm assuming most of you are not that impressed, but I could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Feel free to click all the things. And as always, there is an affiliate link in the description down below for Element Games. If you click it and buy something, I get something for saying it that way. You save between 15 and 25% off all tabletop stuff that they stock, which is literally everything in the world. And at the end of it, at the end of the month, 10% of anything through that link goes to charity as well. So nice way to support the channel for stuff that you're going to buy anyway, and a little bit extra too. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go and lie down. I will see you next time. Toodaloo.